Hey gang, depending on what order you've been watching these videos in, this is either part one or part two of my, I spent some stupid money on AliExpress and not really sure if what I was getting was any good, but I figured they're pretty cheap, so why not try? Now, this is the second one, or again, if you're, depending on the order, this maybe is the first one you're watching. The GAO Rice Ball. Now, I got this because I actually own a few other GAO products. I've got the GAO coin and the GAO square, and I like GAO. I like the way they make stuff. I like their mechanical sliders. This is sort of a magnetic. I don't know if you'd consider this mechanical or magnetic, but it's got magnets, so I guess it's magnetic. But it's got kind of a simplicity to it, and this one is kind of cool. It's almost like a silent fidget. So I use this on the couch a lot next to my wife. Well, she sits on the chair beside the couch, but like you can barely hear this thing. So it's kind of cool. And honestly, this has a great texture to it. It's almost like a worry stone. The corners feel really good on this. So let's have a look, see what's inside. Most of the GAO products, if there are balls and magnets involved, are kind of a nightmare when you pop them open because everything sticks to the lid. So that's very likely going to be what happens here. So this will not be fun, but I'm going to sort of open it up and we can all see how these things work. All right, here we have the GAO Rice Ball. Now, I was looking at this. I was also looking at the Pico Pick. I went with this one because the idea that it was customizable, that you could actually do a little bit more with it. So, yeah. Now, what I sort of realized after I got it is there isn't a ton of customizing you can do. Like, it's either balls in or balls out, and then magnets out completely. So right now I have all three magnets in, and I have all the balls in. And you can hear it. It's got a little bit of crunch to it. It kind of spins and stops. You can see it hitting the different magnets as it turns. So it's got these like 6 positions, I guess. Now, the one thing that's nice about this though is it's quiet. Like this is one of those like actual quiet spinner, kind of a soft haptic feedback. So I like it for that. This is probably one of the quietest ones I have. Now, here is what I do hate about GAO products, and I mentioned this already, but is that when you open it, everything kind of explodes. So I'm going to do that for you now, and we're going to walk through kind of the pain of what happens when you open one of these up, and why you might want to do that as little as possible. So here we go. So, you can really open it from any direction or any position, but listen to this. That sound was all the balls and all the magnets coming out of the lid. So inside, now actually what you can't see is even the magnets are in there. So if I start by, where did that ball go? There we go. All right, so I'm just going to put these balls up here. The trick with any GAO fidget is when you put the lid on, you have to be quick. And it doesn't always work. Sometimes you're as quick as you can be and it doesn't matter. It's still not going to go, it's still not going to close properly. So here we go. I took the balls out. Now we've got, oh man, that thing's dirty in there too. I should clean that off a little bit. Hold on a second. I'm just going to do a really fast kind of clean here. I guess from the grease from the bearing, from popping the bearing out sometimes. It's just done that. Okay, so good enough for now. I'll give this a much better cleaning later. So now you can see the magnets go in the bottom, and we have a bearing that's in the middle. All these magnets. And then this bearing comes out sometimes. This is great YouTube, isn't it? Come on. Because you have to get the bearing out to get into the lid. And you can understand my pain. I almost had it. But listen, this is actually necessary for you to see, because this is what you were going to go through. Okay, you know what? I'm going to do this. This is what you were going to go through if you own one of these. So all I need to do is lift this up enough that I can get my knife tip underneath. There we go. So, bearing comes off. And then we have a magnet in the center. And of course, this magnet is just for the lid. And you could just put the lid on right now. It doesn't really spin though, because it just sits on the post. But now the little sort of hidden trick with this is you've got this little hole here, which lets you pop the lid off. And that just lets you see all the magnets inside. Now there's 3 magnets in the lid, which just keeps the lid on here. There are also 6 magnets inside. Now I watched Dan Bruner's video on this, and he said that 3 of these are not attached, but I have not been able to remove any of mine. They are all attached. So I think all mine have just been glued in, which is fine. But so what happens is when this spins around, the 3 magnets that go in here kind of stick to these 6 positions. And I guess if you were able to take them out, as Dan had done, then, yeah, see, nothing's coming out. I've tried, like, magnets to pull them out. They don't come out. So I think mine are maybe glued in. So we'll just go back, put our cap on. So with the bearing in place, okay, now if with the bearing in place and I put on, then it's just a spinner. It's kind of cool. Like, at least it sticks to it. Like, it's not going to separate. So that's kind of neat. And it's sort of nice. Like, you can just kind of rub your finger around. And I mentioned earlier that this has kind of a worry stone feel to it. And being able to do this really adds to that. So one of the things I could do is, instead of putting in all 3. Now, the balls don't do anything. The balls are just for sound. So I'm not going to put those in right now. I am just going to figure out the polarity by there. So I know that that's my polarity. I know that that's the way it goes, because now it's sticking to all my magnets. So I know that that is the side that's going to go in like this. But the magnet in the middle is so strong that it flips these magnets over all the time. So that's the one thing I really do wish GAO could kind of figure out, is a better way to deal with this stuff. So anyways, let's go with 1. I'm going to pop in 1 magnet, or at least try to go in 1. Now also, the holes are quite deep, which is a little annoying. But I'm putting 2 into 1 spot. Now here's where you need the speed. You need to get that bearing in before the magnet catches. So see, with 2 magnets in the 1 hole, it's got a little bit of catch, and you get this kind of neat little rattly sound. Now as I lift it off, though, of course the magnets are going to come right back out. Oh, look at that, it's stuck, making me a liar. Oh, that's cool, I guess. Okay, let me flip this over, make sure I got polarity. Okay, there we go. So I got polarity there. So I want to flip it this way and pop it in. Okay, so now we've got 2. So, you know, it's kind of cool. It's simple though. I think this was also way more expensive than it needed to be because it's not, you're not getting a ton out of it. Like it's okay. It's kind of fun, but I think this was like although this was, I believe this was on sale. So again, I'll put the link and the price down below, but there. So now I've got all 3 in, and one of the things I like to do is push the magnets down to try to get a head start on placing. So here we go. So now I've got all the magnets in. Now actually, one of them, I've got the wrong polarity in here because you can see it's actually repelling. So that's the fun with with GAO stuff, but it gives you kind of a neat effect, even when it's repelling, when the magnets repel, because you get this little bouncy, this little bounce back, this little feedback. So now it's a question of which one. Oh, so they were probably all wrong. Okay. Let's try that. There. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So now there's no spin, as in there's no free spin. It's very much just click it to the next place. So the balls that go in there, they just kind of add a bit of sensation to it as you're spinning. And I don't mind it. I put them in because it just gives you a little bit of extra feel. Of course, the problem is, oh, there you go. Look at that. Every single time. So this is, like I said, if you don't like having to redo something every single time you want to get into the top of it to modify it, maybe stay away from the rice ball. I don't mind. Here's where the real fun comes in, though. Watch this. And by fun, I'm being heavily sarcastic. I know as a Canadian, we aren't known for our sarcasm. We're known for our politeness. So sometimes it's a little hard to detect my sarcasm. But it's there. Okay. So here's one option. This is just kind of like doing a rattle on every other one. So I'm hoping that the gap in between there adds a bit of rattle. Problem is, the minute I get this over top of there, this magnet is going to pull all of these guys up. So I have to be like super fast. Like that. I've had to redo this so many times. So, you know, I've got 2 balls in there on each side. It's not really any different than having 3 on each side. So there you go. I think it's kind of fun. If you don't pay too much for it, it's worth it just because it's nice to hold. But as you can see, you do get fingerprints on it really easily. But it's got a really nice feel to it. Very smooth corners, really well machined on the edges. So that part I really like. Some of my fidgets I just like to have in my hand sometimes. Kind of like a worry stone, I guess. So there you go. The GAO Rice Ball. Buy it, don't buy it. I'm not sure. I don't know if I would actually really recommend it to people flat out. I'd say it's definitely for a certain type of fidget user, for sure. Clearly, I'm one of them until I get bored with it. Okay, thanks for watching.